The Apostle Paul was known as a tent maker, which could mean that he created a shelter of hope for the Gentiles in the first century. It could also mean that he created actual tents, since it costs money to travel the known world. Probably both. But there's one creature that doesn't use tent making as a side hustle: the Honduran white bat. When you're a tiny bat in a big world, you gotta use what you got to survive here in life, death, and taxonomy.
Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe, and if you want to see me point at you, check us out on Patreon and see video versions of the episode.
And I'm Carlos, and if you want to see the rest of what my room looks like, because I've changed camera angles and gotten an actual digital camera and am standing up instead of sitting down, you can become a patron, and you can see our videos.
You're standing desking?
I am standing up.
Ooh,
I've got standing podcaster energy going right now.
Sitting and squeaking in my chair.
Yeah, my chair squeaks a lot, and also I've actually spent the last 8 hours sitting in my chair, so I don't want to do that anymore.
Very
Hurts my
true.
back. But thank you. Oh wait, you're supposed to say thank you.
Oh yes, thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at LD Taxonomy, or visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And thank you, a very special thank you, to our patrons, Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspolich, and Carol Raspolich. Thank you for supporting the show and keeping the lights on. It's very appreciated. And I can point at the camera because I know you're watching. Thank you. And check out my sword in the background. It is cool.
Ooh, sword.
Lots of swords. There's like there's 3 swords in this room. Actually, no, you can't really see it. But
I have to talk to Johanna about investing in swords.
it's not a great investment, I gotta say. Ever since COVID hit, the price of swords has just gone through the roof.
We have to figure out a way to make the sword version of NFTs. Although
I own this sword.
Yeah.
Just engrave it.
It's like investing in precious metals. You just need to make the sword out of something precious.
Mine's made out of steel, and this one's made out of rubber. So,
well, today we're talking about lipstick in my Honduran white bat.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What have you just assaulted me with?
Oh, it's a meme. Ever heard of memes?
There's one about the Honduran white bat?
Yeah. No.
I thought you were doing, like, I was like, oh, this must be like a Always Sunny thing. That sounds like something Charlie Day would say.
No, here it is. Here.
I spilled lipstick in your Valentino bag.
Oh, you spilled lipstick in my Valentino white bag.
I spilled lipstick in your
Lipstick in my Valentino white bag. The perfect amount of syllables.
Oh, yeah, that is. I was like, there's really a meme about the Honduran white bat?
Actually, it's not the perfect. Valentino is 4, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unless it was Honduran, which I thought for a second.
So did
I
Johanna.
first wrote it in, but it's not. It's a Honduran.
But
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The Honduran white bat.
Cat's out of the bat.
Yeah, because the bat ate the cat. But we're going to call it here. Well, it's also known as the Caribbean white tent making bat. But we're going to call it here the nocturnal nomad. And trimmetry. This is that one I have to give credit to Bibby on again. We were just giving the kids a bath, and I was like, "Got any good nicknames?" And she was like, "Trimmetry." Like, that's perfect.
She's got a gift. Don't hide it under a bushel.
She does have a gift. Bushel basket. Yeah, I'll let her gift shine as often as possible because my nicknaming abilities have waned in over the years, but hers are blossoming. So
Some might say they're waxing.
Hers are waxing. Mine are waning. Bruce Wayning, the Batman. Ha! Ha!
Wayne Knight. Wayne the Dark Knight.
He is so not the Dark Knight. Anyway, you want to taxon? Oh, you want me to taxonomize this? I guess it's my thing.
No, I taxonomize it when it's your thing.
Oh yeah, this is my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you taxonomize this.
Well, it's in the kingdom you know, love, and live in. Well, you live, but you're in it. The kingdom is Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. The class is Mammalia because it's Carlos's animal.
I love me some mammals.
The order is Chiroptera, which means it's a chiropractor. I mean,
Yes.
it's an animal with four limbs.
Though.
4 limbs adapted as wings. Bats, you might say.
Flying foxes.
Yeah. The family is Phyllostomidae, which is New World leaf-nosed bats. Leaf-nosed bats. New
So
World,
it does not look
meaning-
like a flying fox.
No.
It's got the classic vampire bat looking face.
And you will not find it flying around the Temple of Doom in India because it's a New World bat, which means it's on the American side of the Columbian Exchange.
So over here in the old Western Hemisphere, which is not old but new, even though it's just as old as the other hemisphere.
True. The genus is Ectophylla.
Because it's a ghost.
Mm-hmm. And the species is
It loves ghosts.
the binomial name Ectophylla alba.
Yeah. Which I'm sure has something to do with albino. It's the Honduran white bat. But since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that question is the same every time. What is the name of a group of this animal? Or what is the term of entry? Or what is the collective noun? It's all the same. If you saw a group of bats, what would you call it? I don't think we had critter groups back when we did the vampire bat, which is the only other bat we've done, if I remember right. So I think this is brand new. So if you saw a group of bats, Joe, would you say that's A, a blind of bats, B, a swarm of bats, C, a flutter of bats, or D, a cloud of bats?
I'm going to say B is swarm. Final answer.
That's fast. It's fast. You're incorrect. The answer is not swarm. The answer is cloud.
Oh, okay. And that wasn't on my radar. Maybe it was. It was not the least on my radar. I think C was the least on my radar.
They use echolocation, so you are definitely on their radar if you're in the vicinity. But yeah, if you've ever seen, I mean, not all bats, and particularly the Honduran white bat, do not really congregate in masses like clouds. But there are.
There's something cloud-like about them.
Yeah, I would say yes, they are white and fluffy. But I don't know if I mentioned this in the vampire bat episode, but just the in Gainesville on the University of Florida campus, they have a bat house with like 100,000 bats in it, and during the summer, right at sundown, they all come out at the same time. They all just decide to leave the bat house at the same time, and let me tell you, it's a cloud. And also, you're very grateful because you're being bitten by mosquitoes, and that's their favorite food.
Yikes. But thanks,
But,
though. Thanks to them for
Yeah,
eating those.
I'm all for bats. Some people are really like afraid of bats.
We
And
have on Twitter, we have some bat people. Bat, like, researchers, sciencemen,
I like
and,
bats. I think they're awesome.
enthusiasts.
Speaking of bat enthusiasts, this was a suggestion from, well, actually a couple of people. It was first suggested to me by my brother-in-law Caleb, another one from Caleb. But he grew up loving bats, like I grew up loving crocodilians, and I'm sure, Joe, you grew up loving bears. He loved bats, and so this was, when I last hung out with him, this was definitely one of the ones that he wanted to hear more about. So thank you, Caleb. But I think it was also suggested by Eric on, I think it was over email. So I was already planning on doing it thanks to Caleb, but yes, also a recommendation from Eric. Thank you guys. We are open to not all recommendations, but if you can think of an animal that has a cool superpower or does something unique, let us hear it.
Okie
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah. Description time.
Would you like to hear it described?
I would.
Here we go. The Honduran white bat looks like an ice flying type. Or perhaps a marshmallow with wings.
Ice flying is not a very good type combination.
Well, no one said it was the best combination. If bats are dark creatures of the night, the Honduran white bat is an adorable, fluffy creature of the night.
You think this is adorable?
It is adorable, yeah. As far as bats go,
I would have to agree that as far as leaf-nosed bats go, this is probably the cutest one. But I think it's a stretch for me to say that.
When you look at it dead in the face, it has a pug-like ugliness, cuteness.
It's just that nose. It's just like, it looks like its face is split open.
No, it's not split open. There's a leaf on it.
It looks... Anyway, yeah.
If you look at it from the profile, it's not like... It's like Johanna was like, thought it was a horn. She's like, what's this horn all about? So picture a cotton ball, give it black wings and feet, then stick a big pair of bright yellow ears and a large leaf nose on it. The leaf nose, we don't super understand why it has this leaf nose. It's thought maybe that it aids in echolocation, but I sounded the alarm on Twitter. I asked, because we have some bat people that we are buds with on Twitter, and I asked, why do they have these nose things? And Sophie Ann at Honk If You're Hoary, which Hoary is like a type of bat. She says scientists believe they are...
That is snarky.
She says scientists believe that they are focusing echolocation. They are for focusing echolocation, but I don't think they know for sure. Many of the leaf-nosed bats are fructivorous or nectar feeding and tend to rely less on echolocation than insectivorous bats. So yeah, obviously you need, if you're hunting for insects, you need echolocation, but there's no need to like echolocate a fruit. So what are these leaf noses for?
Oh, I mean, if it's dark and you can't see very well, it'd be nice to echolocate it. It's just, you only need to do that once, and then you're like, okay, I got the fruit.
Researcher Aaron Amakai, I'm sure I'm ruining that pronunciation, but he did a study on like bat noses, and there's one specific bat that has like a horseshoe shape, and that might be for what he calls beam forming, which is like it's not necessarily about the intake of echolocation sounds. It's like it shapes the like size the shape of the echolocation beam produced by the nasal emitting bats.
Oh, so like when we mentioned in the Amazon River Dolphin episode, they have this fatty, fluid-filled organ in their head, and the sound is focused through that. So
yeah,
maybe those fulfill similar functions.
Yeah,
just one in the water and one in the air. But if even the bat people don't know, then get on that, bat people.
I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with echolocation. My theory was like maybe it funnels incoming scent particles, but that might be stupid. That sounds like maybe it's stupid.
Like you can catch more
smell.
Catch a bigger whiff.
Don't know if that's how it works. Because like an ear, it works for an ear because you catch vibrations. You can hear it through, the cup of your ear.
I imagine if you had a bigger nose, you could smell more things. You could like more scents could get into your nose. Now whether you can differentiate them is up to you, but it's getting in there.
Well, the black bear can change the position of his nose to perfectly find the scent. But let's get into the other thing about the description, the size. Welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms through a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you when you send an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, so that means we get to hear from an animal, and Carlos has to guess what it is.
Alrighty then.
Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show. Is that A, an elephant seal? B, a Canadian goose? C, a Shetland pony? Or D, a Bactrian camel?
See, Bactrians are super rare. I think the goose has already been a friend of the show before on this segment. I'm going to go with seal. I'm going to go with a baby elephant seal.
Aren't there domesticated Bactrians?
Probably, but they're like, those are the rare ones. Those are the ones that actually have wild.
Right. But are they rare in the wild and not rare in domestication?
I don't know, but what I do know is that when I saw them on planet Earth, like David Attenborough was talking about how rare it was to get a shot of these guys. So I was like, oh, okay. They must be rare. Like if you got a Pokemon card of them, there'd be a little star in the right-hand corner. And they might be holographic if you got lucky. Holographic Bactrian camel. But I'm going to say my answer is the baby elephant seal.
Final answer.
Yes.
The correct answer is camel.
Oh.
Now, I'm assuming it doesn't tell me which kind of camel it is, and I was assuming it is because it's like very hairy in a way that you don't usually see dromedaries. And I looked up like different camels in the Bactrian. It's got that like mop of hair on the top and like all around his body.
The question is, does it have one hump or two?
I can't see, unfortunately. Its face is in the camera. But listen to this more fun sounds this guy makes.
Is that Snoop Dogg?
This is very Star Warsy.
More Star Wars in the Book of Boba Fett. Oh, that definitely sounded very Snoop Doggy though.
Oh.
Isn't that Snoop Dogg? Do I have that wrong?
Don't know.
Drop it like it's hot.
Sure. Actually, have no idea.
Really? That was a major song back.
When it comes to cultural references, I'm betting that you're wrong.
It's true, but I think I'm right on that.
I'm thinking of the song, and it doesn't. Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Snoop.
I know
the song starts with Snoop.
The one thing that I am right about is a rap song.
I was about to quote some of the lyrics. Besides, "Drop It Like It's Hot."
Probably
I
don't.
may not. I am
probably
not permitted.
Just go as far as to say it is a Snoop Dogg song.
Oh, here's a good line. I'm a nice dude with some nice dreams.
That is, wholesome.
Yeah.
This man and his music is wholesome. Are wholesome. Just
okay.
Watch the Super Bowl halftime show again, and just think of how nice of a man he is and how nice his dreams are.
Let's get into the body length. They're between 34 and 47 millimeters, or 1.5 and 1.9 inches.
Okay.
How many Honduran white bats go into the length of the longest motorable highway?
Motorable.
Yeah.
As opposed to a highway that is unmotorable.
Yeah. Something that you can only ride bikes on.
Like the information highway.
You know what? If
Internet?
it's like a walk, like what would you call, like a walking highway or a horse riding highway?
I would most certainly not call it a highway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what motorable means. But do you know where it is?
It's the longest, you said?
Maybe it's not motorable if you have to take a ferry. Although a boat has a motor.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
A big long highway.
Yeah. I feel like all highways should be motorable by definition, but I guess that's not the case. I don't know where it is. Unless it's the Autobahn. Then I know where that is. But I don't think it's the Autobahn. It's probably...
A non-motorable highway is one that cannot be traversed by a motor vehicle.
Yeah, that sounds like not a highway. It sounds like a road.
Well, there's like... Yeah.
Like, that's what... I don't know. Maybe the nomenclature is different for other places, but when I say highway, I mean, like, the one without... the one that you drive your motor vehicles on that doesn't have the stoplights on it. Anyway, the interstate. Is it I-95? Is that the longest? Goes from like Maine to Miami.
Highway is just a main road, especially one connecting major towns or cities.
I guess, yeah, you do. I mean, I guess I would say the nomenclature's changed, but there used to be highwaymen.
Yeah.
Back before there were even cars. Thieves that would wait on the road. But I think like highway is more of a relative term compared to the other roads. There is a highway, and that's the one that is the fastest and most well traveled. That's what I would say. But.
Well, here's a hint. The Pan American Highway goes from Alaska to Argentina.
What?
And passes through Bat Country. Not the Avenged Sevenfold song, but where we're talking about.
Forgot about that song.
I did too, until I organically came up with the phrase Bat Country, and I'm like, that sounds familiar.
It does. Wow. How I thought of that song in a long time. Wow, I had no idea there was a road that stretched one road that is stretched the entire way.
I'm sure it's a series of roads.
Oh, then it's not a highway. It's not a highway.
You don't know what a highway is. No one does.
I mean, everything is. Everything's. I imagine you could drive from Portugal to Beijing if you wanted to, but it wouldn't all be one giant highway. It would be you'd have to take many different roads.
Well, maybe the Pan American, but like if you take a straight line, the Pan American Highway, like one state, like in America, it will be called like U.S. something, or something like that, and in Canada it's going to be called something else, and in
it's called different things, but it's it's all the same road. You don't have to turn off anywhere.
Yeah,
and that would be impressive.
That's probably what it is. Yeah,
if you can start in not Anchorage. You can't start in Anchorage, but oh no, wait, no, Juneau's the one is the Alaskan city that you can only get to by boat. You start in Anchorage and then come all the way down to Argentina.
Yeah, you probably can.
Without having to get off on an exit.
You probably can. But except for you probably have to get off for like
peeing
food
and stuff like that.
Gas.
Just bring a bunch of power bars and an enema catheter. That's the other weird, nasty medical thing that I never want. I hope it is never done to me. So I was just watching Futurama, and they have their pre-flight coffee enemas, and it gets me every time. All right, so this road, goodness gracious, that must be like, I'm gonna say 4,500 miles. So that's gonna be 285 million inches. 150 million. 150 million bats going to the length of this highway.
Final answer?
The Bat Country Highway. Yes, final answer.
The correct answer is 500 million.
What did I do wrong? It can't be that much bigger.
It's 15,000 miles.
Oh my goodness. I guess it's not I guess I was kind of going by like as the Nazgul flies when really roads
very true. Yeah, the longer
do their own thing.
And the longer the distance, the more the curves matter.
Yeah,
just like in a marriage. There's 24,140 kilometers, by the way.
Oh man. Oh. That was a really, really good joke. I need to drink water after that. Goodness. I was not anticipating that.
Let's talk weight. They're between
after that?
Yeah. Let's they're between 5 and 6 grams, or 0.18 to 0.21 ounces. How many lempiara de 5 centavos go into the weight of the Honduran white bat?
Something of 5 cents?
Yes. Here's a hint. Lempiara is the currency of Honduras. So it's the 5 cent in that denomination. Or the 5 cent denomination in that currency. It's worth 0.041 US dollars and 0.031 pounds sterling.
I don't know. These tiny weights aren't getting me anywhere. I'm not getting strong on tiny weights. I'm gonna say 50. This is like, there's no math involved in this. 50. I'm gonna say 50 of these 5 centavos coins-ish things, or maybe a bill, I don't know, go into the weight of 1 Honduran white bat.
Well, final answer?
Yes.
The correct answer is 50 minus 49. The answer is 1.
It's 1? Oh.
Yeah, a 5-cent piece of lempiara is about 5 grams.
I'm so bad at the tiny weights. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, because we were raised on ounces, and those things are huge.
I don't think about things that are small.
You think big.
I think big. This is America. We think big.
You're a nice man with some big dreams.
You could, like, an ounce is heavy enough to kill someone with. That's all we care about. An inch is long enough for a dart. Or a bullet. Or something like that.
Yeah, and if you give them an inch, they take a mile. Do you want to hear some fast facts?
Sure. Surely.
The Honduran white bat lives in South America, specifically Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. They prefer forested areas with large leaf tropical plants. They are frugivores. What did she say? She said, like, I guess it's not frugivore? Fructivorous.
Fructivorous?
Fructivorous. Yeah, they're fruit eaters, and they specifically eat one type of fig almost exclusively. In fact, it's one of the 2 smallest fruit-eating bats in the world, along with the little white-shouldered bat, which is not as cute. It sounds cute, but it's not as cute as the Honduran white bat.
It's not the stoat of bats?
No. This might be the stoat of bats. As stoatly as we're going to get. If you're looking for one of these koosh balls, your best bet is to find a high-quality fig tree that produces a lot of figs at once. And then you start beating around the bushes. You'll shake loose some.
Yeah,
mallows.
literally beat around the bush.
They're eaten by snakes and monkeys that are native to their areas. This bat is fairly modest in that there is very little known about its reproductive habits. It keeps to itself. It doesn't kiss and tell.
It's so modest.
But then there is one more thing that I don't fully understand, but there is something to do with its bright yellow ears and nose and lips are like the yellowness of them is produced by a carotenoid deposition.
Carotenoid?
A deposit of keratin or a keratin-like thing. And the mechanism of this deposition is being researched as a way to understand and combat macular degeneration in humans.
I know some of these words.
So, macular degeneration is muscular degeneration that is usually age-related. Or not weak, not muscular, isn't it? It's eye. Macular degeneration has to do with vision, you dumb idiot. Me. Not muscular degeneration, macular degeneration. You a weak eyesighted old person you would not become. Which is, I don't know, maybe even weirder. That something that makes these bats yellow can help my eyes.
Well, they have keratin and we have carrots, so
that's it, yeah.
Those two words sound similar, and so therefore they have to do with eyes.
Have you ever seen a bat wearing glasses? Blind as a bat, and I won't be because of your yellow ears, is a sentence that you can say now.
Sure, yeah, and people will love you for it.
Yeah. But that's all I got. What do you got?
All right. It's time for the major facts, which I'm calling tent makers. Like Paul.
He's an apostle Paul type?
I already mentioned it in the intro.
A Pauline bat?
The Pauline bat. So you may think of bats as cave dwellers, right?
By no means. That's Apostle Paul reference.
But
read his letters.
Are we bound by the caves and not by Not by tents. Anyway, we could really take that and run with it, and lose most people. But yeah, so some bats like to be out in the field rather than at home base, or rather they make their home base wherever they go. They're more nomadic than your average bat. So what the Honduran white bat will do is they will look for the large leaves of heliconias, or heliconias. Sorry, there's no extra O there. These are big tropical. These are plants with big tropical leaves, like birds of paradise or like banana plants. Think of banana plants. And they'll huddle underneath these leaves. I was trying to figure out Bibby and I were trying to figure out a nickname that that incorporated like the Banana Boat song, because daylight come and me one go home, and they're bats. But nah, couldn't incorporate it in, so I'm clumsily incorporating it in now. But yes, they like to hide underneath plants like this. And while these leaves will offer protection from above, they don't do much for the sides. They're pretty exposed, and it's difficult to cling on for very long. So that's why the bat will form the leaf into a makeshift tent, and that will cover the sides and protect them from weather and the eyes of predators, unfriendly eyes. And so what they'll do is, if you're picturing like a big banana leaf, so it's really this really long oblong leaf with like a big paddle, and they will bite the ribs. So when you see a leaf, it has the center main stem part, and then there are veins, or they call them ribs, that branch out from the center to support the rest of the leaf. And the bat will go through and bite these, so that this leaf that usually, umbrellas out, kind of folds down, kind of a lot like if a canvas draped over a tent pole, like exactly that. And so that will provide actual protection from the sides. So you have to be like directly underneath the leaf in order to see the bats that are huddled up all cutely and snug underneath. And up to 15 bats will huddle up beneath these leaves. So not really a cloud of bats. Wouldn't really call this a cloud. But they do like live in these kind of familial groups. But however, this ends up killing the leaves pretty quickly. The leaves usually would last for a year or more, but then they'll only last for about 7 weeks after they've been bitten like this. So once the leaf dies, and it becomes no longer suitable, so they have to go and make another tent somewhere else. This is why I call them the nocturnal nomads. They kind of just go around and set up camp wherever they go. And also, living underneath these leaves has a dual effect in hiding them, because as sunlight passes through the green leaves and hits the white fur of these bats, the relative consensus is that the reason why they're white is so that they can kind of take on the color of whatever they're near. So their fur appears green because the light passing through the leaves becomes green as it passes through the leaves and hits the bats. So then they really blend in during the day underneath these leaves. So it's kind of a de facto camouflage. So it just looks like a bunch of like tree nubs or plant nubs, and then you're like, oh, that's a bunch of bats instead.
Oh, that has some powder mildew on it. Nope, it's bats.
Yep. So yeah, this is a short one, but that's how this tiny little albino bat makes tents out of the leaves it finds. And it's not often that bats will make homes like this. They usually find homes like caves and things. And the Honduran white bat is not the only bat to do this. There are 22 species of bats that do this, but this is definitely the one that looks the most interesting, and it's also it's very elusive and, like you said, modest. There's not a ton that's known about it. So, you bat people, you got some. There are new horizons to explore.
Isn't that exciting?
If I was a bat researcher, I'd be like, yeah, like, when can I go out there and figure out the next thing about these guys? Because I don't have to dive to the bottom of the ocean to see an animal that is like not very well known. I can just go to Honduras.
Yeah, and they're near threatened. They're not endangered yet, but they have its population or habitat loss is posing a threat, I suppose.
Yeah,
or the
fewer banana leaves there are to hide underneath, the fewer places there are to live. Although I would just if I were one of those bats, I would kind of make the rounds on the same plant. I wouldn't really go anywhere else.
They do stick to a spot until the leaf can't support them anymore and they have to find a new leaf, or B, the nearby fig tree is tapped out.
Yeah, well, I'm saying once the leaf I'm living under dies, I'm just gonna go to another leaf on the same plant.
Right.
And then once that dies, I'll keep doing that, and then probably another leaf will have sprouted up to replace it, and then it kind of just you can mooch off that banana plant for as long as the figs don't run out. But yeah, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right, that was the Honduran white bat. For you out there in Podcastia, stay small, stay hidden, and turn your leaves into tents during survival situations like Bear Grylls. I mean, the Honduran white bat, here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Since the entire major fact, I was on a deep dive of the Banana Boat song. Because there's a line that says, a beautiful bunch of ripe banana, daylight coming, we want to go home, hide the deadly black tarantula.
Yeah.
But it's a traditional Jamaican folk song, and there are no tarantulas on Jamaica. And tarantulas are also not deadly.